What if I told you one of the most iconic 80s comedies holds stories you've never heard before?
Oh no!
In 1984, Revenge of the Nerds hit theaters and changed pop culture forever. But behind the pocket protectors, the Tri-Lambs, and the chaos at Adams College, there are questions no one ever really answered. What was the real sound behind Booger's legendary belch? Was it movie magic or something way more funny?
Oh, no.
Where did Louis Skolnick's unforgettable, high-pitched laugh actually come from? Was it scripted, improvised, or inspired by someone real? And that wild tricycle race, did it really involve alcohol behind the scenes, or was that just another campus rumor that grew over time? Today, we're diving deep into the untold stories, behind-the-scenes secrets, and surprising truths about the 1984 cult classic Revenge of the Nerds. So, grab your taped-up eyeglasses and your pocket protector while we dive into this classic comedy.
Why, I wouldn't miss this for the world.
One of the most infamous and unforgettable scenes in Revenge of the Nerds is the belching showdown between Dudley, Booger, Dawson, played by Curtis Armstrong, and Fred, the ogre, Palawaxki, portrayed by Donald Gibb. In the film, Booger triumphs in spectacular fashion. However, the moment wasn't as authentic as it seemed. Neither Armstrong nor Gibb actually belched during filming. They simply mimed the performance, and the sounds were added later in post-production. Most of the dubbed audio belonged to Booger's character, crafted to be longer and more exaggerated than anything done on set. To achieve the desired effect, the sound team went to unusual lengths. Years later, Armstrong learned that the final audio mix included more than just a human belch.
Not a human. It was a recording of a camel orgasm.
Ew. Fun fact, to see how convincing their nerd makeup and costumes really were, Robert Carradine and Anthony Edwards decided to put them to the test. They showed up at a real college rush week, where fraternities were evaluating potential pledges. At the very first house they visited, the fraternity leader took one look at them and immediately said,
"No way."
When Robert Carradine first read the script for Revenge of the Nerds, Lewis's laugh was described as sounding like a goose honk, but he wasn't quite sure how to bring that to life. By coincidence, one of the first scenes filmed featured Lewis and Gilbert being dropped off at college by Lewis's father, played by James Cromwell. During the scene, Cromwell created a quirky, nasal laugh for his character. Carradine immediately picked up on it and began mimicking the sound, which ultimately became Lewis's now iconic laugh.
I hear it too, and it's very annoying.
Cromwell later reflected that he only realized the true origin of the laugh after the first day of production. While driving home from the studio, it suddenly occurred to him that the distinctive nerd laugh he had invented was actually inspired, perhaps unintentionally, by the laugh of his ex-wife. Coming up, find out how this film inspired a real-life fraternity. The guy who played Toshiro, Brian Tochi, mentioned when they filmed the tricycle race scene, he was offered a choice between drinking real beer or using soda disguised as beer. He opted for the real thing.
So he said, "What are you, crazy? Of course I want to call beer."
After multiple takes and shooting from various angles, he ended up genuinely intoxicated by the time filming wrapped. As a result, some of his clumsy moments on the bike weren't acting at all. They were completely real.
He's drunk as a skunk.
Poindexter, who was played by Timothy Busfield, wore glasses that were so thick that he could barely see through them. In scenes where he had to move around, he was typically guided by another actor to make sure he hit his marks safely. Although Booger became Curtis Armstrong's most iconic role, he didn't want the part at first. As he shared in the DVD commentary, he originally auditioned for Gilbert but was later asked to read for Booger instead. Armstrong even told fellow actor Bronson Pinchot that if he were offered the role, they could just forget it. I'm not picking my nose on camera for anyone.
Excuse, please, but why do they call you Booger?
I don't know.
Inspired by the films Revenge of the Nerds and National Lampoon's Animal House, Lambda 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 is a small co-ed social fraternity that operates independently from the interfraternity and Panhellenic councils. Its mission centers on celebrating pop culture while fostering friendship and camaraderie among its members. The Alpha chapter was established as a student organization at the University of Connecticut on January 15, 2006, by 10 founding members, 9 men and 1 woman. The fraternity was created with the goal of returning fraternities to their original spirit of community, emphasizing openness and inclusivity as a way to build a strong network of support among its brothers and sisters.
Something like that.
To prepare for his breakout role as Lamar Luttrell, Scott took ballet and dance lessons. After the film wrapped, Larry B., Scott found himself strongly typecast. His portrayal of the effeminate, gay, black sidekick carried across all 4 films in the franchise, a commitment he later said he felt obligated to maintain. While Scott noted that the role helped him avoid the more common street thug stereotypes often offered to black actors, it also created a different limitation, leading many viewers to assume he was gay in real life. In an effort to break away from the image associated with Lamar, Scott later sought out tougher, more traditionally macho roles that allowed him to present a very different on-screen persona, like fighting Daniel, Ralph Macchio, in The Karate Kid and playing a soldier in the 1987 film Extreme Prejudice. The cast of Revenge of the Nerds were notably protective of Andrew Cassese, who played Wormser. Because he was much younger than the rest of the cast, they, along with director Jeff Canoe, made sure he was kept away from many of the scenes that ultimately earned the film its R rating and avoided giving him a central role in them. Despite this, Cassese was later allowed to watch the finished movie while he was still under 17, and he was reportedly surprised by how much of the film's more mature content he had not witnessed during production. Before Robert Carradine was cast as the lead nerd, Louis Skolnick, in Revenge of the Nerds, the producers first pursued Rick Moranis for the role. Moranis ultimately turned it down, having already portrayed the memorable nerdy character Louis Tully in Ghostbusters. The role of Gilbert's girlfriend Judy, Michelle Merrick, was almost played by other actresses such as Jamie Gertz, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Joan Cusack. The role of Ogre was auditioned for by the professional wrestler, Sting, but ultimately producers didn't think he had the right look, so the role went to Donald Gibb.
Look at you got the job!
The movie launched extensive careers for some of its cast members. Robert Carradine went on to reprise his role as Louis Skolnick in the 3 sequels to Revenge of the Nerds. He later moved into television, playing Lizzie's father on the popular Lizzie McGuire on Disney Channel, and went on to executive produce and host the reality competition series King of the Nerds. Anthony Edwards returned as Gilbert Lowe in Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise. He later gained widespread recognition for his role as Dr. Mark Green on the hit medical drama ER, 1994 to 2008, earning both a Golden Globe and a Screen Actors Guild Award in 1998 for his performance. Edwards' other film credits include Top Gun, Big Sur, and Zodiac. He also lent his voice to the character Echo in Disney's 2013 animated film Planes. More recently, he appeared in a recurring role on the television series Designated Survivor. Curtis Armstrong reprised his role as Dudley Booger Dawson in Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise, Revenge of the Nerds 3, The Next Generation, and Revenge of the Nerds 4, Nerds in Love. Among his other memorable film roles is Better Off Dead. After transitioning more heavily into television, Armstrong appeared on series ranging from Moonlighting to New Girl with Zooey Deschanel. He provides the voice of Snot on the animated comedy American Dad.
What kind of name is that?
He later served as executive producer and co-host of TBS reality competition series King of the Nerds alongside Robert Carradine. After Revenge of the Nerds, Brian Tochi appeared as Cadet Nogata in Police Academy 3, Back in Training and Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol. He also provided the voice of Leonardo in the live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and its sequels. Tochi later returned to his role as Takashi Toshiro in the subsequent Revenge of the Nerds films. Ted McGinley landed one of his earliest credited roles as Stan Gable in Revenge of the Nerds. After portraying the film's antagonistic jock, McGinley built a long television career with numerous credits. He played Roger Phillips on Happy Days from 1980 to 1984 and later appeared on series such as The Love Boat, Dynasty, Married, With Children, and Hope and Faith. His additional television work includes Transformers, Robots in Disguise, and The West Wing. McGinley currently stars alongside Roma Downey in the digital series The Baxters. Timothy Busfield went on to star in television series such as 30-something and West Wing. Alongside acting, Busfield developed a substantial career behind the camera, directing more than 140 television episodes of series including This Is Us, The Fosters, Without a Trace, and The Rookie, and serving as a producer on several shows. He also remained active in theater, co-founding the B Street Theater in Sacramento and appearing on Broadway in productions such as A Few Good Men. That's all for today, my friends. What is the funniest part in the film? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.